Hello, my awesome artists. We are back today in the place where it all started, in Payson, Arizona. And today we're going to be making a Smokey the Bear poster. We're going to use both drawing skills and printmaking. Here's what you'll need. You'll need a permanent marker, dark in color, but any color will do. You'll need washable markers, again, any colors, gather up what you can find. A piece of tin foil that's the same size as the sheet of white paper that you're using. So white paper, tin foil. You're also going to use a wet paper towel or a damp one, kind of squeezed out, but definitely wet. Gather those things up and then join us. Today, we're going to draw Smokey the Bear. But first, some history. Smokey was born on August 9th, 1944, when the U.S. Forest Services and the Ad Council agreed that a fictional bear would be the symbol to promote fire prevention. Smokey was first drawn by Albert Stahill, and he is an American black bear. Did you know that there was a real Smokey also? In 1950, in New Mexico, an operator in a fire tower spotted smoke and called in a fire. As the crew fought the fire, they found a lone bear cub wandering near the fire line. The fire became too aggressive and they had to back away. They assumed that the cub would find its mother soon, or its mother would find it. After the fire had burned away, the crew came back to the area and they found the bear cub in a tree, badly burned. The cub was taken in by a firefighter that was also a rancher. When Fish and Game heard the story, they sent help to get the cub and bring him to Santa Fe for treatment. Once he was feeling better, he was sent to the National Zoo in D.C. to be the living symbol of Smokey the Bear. Smokey the real bear died in 1976 and was returned to his home to be buried. You can still visit his grave and monument there today. Why Smokey and why now? Because with the pandemic that we're experiencing right now, forest fires are going to be particularly hard to fight. We're going to have a shortage of resources and a shortage of firefighters to be able to come in and help, especially in areas like Arizona and California that experience these fires so heavily. It's super important that you do what you can, even as a kid, to help. These are Smokey's 5 rules of fire prevention. Number 1, only you can prevent forest fires. Number 2, always be careful with fire. Number 3, never play with matches or lighters. Number 4, always watch your campfire. And number 5, make sure your campfire is completely out before you leave your campsite. Today drawing with me is my husband, my adventure partner, Kevin. Mr. K.
I'm here.
No, not Mr. K.
The other Mr. K.
Mr. K. Big K. I don't know. Gator. Gator. Okay. Anyway, and we're going to draw a step-by-step drawing of Smokey the Bear. So, you're going to need your permanent marker. Well, that was like in sync. Okay. Not like the band, though. Okay. And you need to choose which way you're going to put your paper. We're going to be making a poster, so you can make it any way that you want, vertical or horizontal. I'm going to do mine vertical. And...
Hamburger.
No, I want to do mine horizontal this time.
You're doing hamburger? This is
horizontal. I'm going to put my drawing off to the side a little bit to leave some room for our second step. And you can do yours big right in the middle.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yes.
And then we can show them both
going
versions.
Hot dog.
Vertical.
Hot dog.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to start on your paper a little bit, just at about the halfway point. We need to leave enough room for Smokey the Bear's hat. So we're going to be making his face in the bottom half, depending which direction you're going. Bottom half. It's going to be overall a U shape on your paper. You might want to trace it. Sometimes I have my students trace something a couple times with their finger or their imaginary pencil before they do it. And as we go, we're going to kind of zigzag that line so that it looks like he has some fur.
Okay.
I feel like it looks like a pineapple. Ooh, that looks good. Okay, cool. All right, so the next step is we're gonna make kind of a rainbow line. It's a little flatter on the top, and it's gonna go right kind of in the middle of his face. This is gonna be his snout. Okay, and then we're gonna connect it with a W shape. It's gonna go up in the middle, and then come down and connect. And then you're gonna do 2 little U's, kind of an upside down rainbow. Okay, the next thing that we're gonna do is sort of like a bubble letter T. It's gonna be the inside where his nose is. The way I break it down is a horizontal line across the top here. And then I'm gonna come down on both sides. Then we'll go in almost to the middle, but we're gonna leave it open. And then we're gonna give it the trunk to our letter T, or the inside of his nose. You got it. Then his eyes kind of sit on his nose and they rest on his cheeks, kind of like he's got a big smile, even though we don't really see. This is probably a bear smile, right? If a bear were to smile.
He's bearing down.
All right, bear with me here. You liked that one, didn't you? That was good. Okay, so we're gonna go out from kind of the top of his nose and almost to the edge of his face. And we're gonna do that on both sides. Trust me. I don't feel like you're trusting me in this moment. Okay, then we're gonna start where it connects to his nose, so right in there. We're gonna make a rainbow line. And it doesn't have to go all the way to the edge, but almost. And then inside that, you can do your eyes however you want to do them. I see kids do them all the time, like Shopkins or like different anime characters they've seen. I just do mine the way that I teach you guys at school. Eyes have 3 parts. They have a pupil, they have an iris, and that's how we break down our drawing. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the iris of Smokey's eye. Kind of almost a circle if you could see the whole thing. I'm going to draw his pupil in the middle. We know that's the part that opens and closes to let light in or keep light out of our eyes so we can focus. And then some kids are really crafty and they put a little reflection in here. That's kind of cool too. No reflection for you? I mean, you don't have to.
My light source is coming from his top left.
I see. So you don't feel that, no? No reflection.
Is he looking into a pool of water? Is he looking into
Smokey
a
the Bear,
mirror
maybe
in his tree house?
Putting out a fire. Okay.
A lot of mirrors by fires.
All right. So the next part is his eyebrows. And those are a little tricky because they're like bubble eyebrows. Like a lot of students like to just make them as a line. We're going to actually start with a line and make that eyebrow shape. But then we're going to give it some form or some. Start with a line, make it a form, I guess. There we go. It looks kind of weird right now, but once we color it in, it'll look a lot better. Okay. From there, he has ears that they're almost lined up with his eyes, and they come out like this and up, and out like this and up. The next step is we're going to make the rectangle for his hat. So we're going to go right off the top of his head. We're going to make it kind of a rectangle. And this is the part where it says Smokey. And he's got like this decorative band here. So we're going to give it another line there. And you can write Smokey in. Or Bill, or whatever you want to. You could fit the bear. Duh bear. I like it. Okay, from here, we're gonna finish off this part of his hat. I know it's looking weird, we're gonna fix that, but we're gonna go up in a triangle shape. So once you've got that almost triangle shape, you're gonna finish it off with a straight line. And then you're gonna do two curved. They're L shapes, but one's forward, one's backwards. That's gonna give you like the divots in his hat. What do they call that when you shape your hat?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's all different styles. And then the last part is kind of the trickiest line that I saved for last, is where you're going to come out from behind his hat here. You're gonna go out. I'm running into my clipboard and around. That's where you're gonna make his brim. And like I said, that's probably the trickiest part. You got it. And then we're just gonna go back and color in. I'm gonna give his brim some thickness, and I'm gonna color in some areas with my permanent marker. So then we're just filling in little parts. Don't worry if you made any small mistakes, those aren't going to be a big deal. So we're gonna print a landscape over top of this.
Like my mentor says, there's no mistakes, just happy accidents.
How come I'm not your mentor?
Me and Bob go way back.
Really? Awesome artists. Now that you've got your Smokey the Bear, there is one little step that I forgot to tell you about that you can choose whether you add or not. You can give him a little bear body here just by kind of giving him some shoulders that go off the page. And you don't have to, you can just leave him as a little floating bear head. That's cool too. But if you want to, like Big K's here is up higher on the page because he's vertical.
She made me draw it hot dog.
I did make him draw it hot dog because I wanted to show our awesome artists that it can be cool, hot dog or hamburger. All right, are we good now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Then there's a second step to making your poster. We're going to do a printmaking process called a monoprint. A monoprint is when you can print something one time. Mono meaning?
Uno.
One. Okay? So we are going to use foil. And so we're going to kind of change gears here and set our drawing off to the side, or I'm going to put mine underneath. And then you have your foil too. And what you need is a sheet of foil that is the same size as your Smokey the Bear picture. And what you want to do is take your foil and sort of measure. What I'm going to do is wrap the edges around so I have an outline of where my paper is. And I'm going to take it out before I work. But this will show me how big I need to draw my landscape, because what we're going to do is put a landscape in the background of our Smokey the Bear, probably a forest-scape. So you just fold it in there and then you fold it back out. Oh, you only need one. I can take this guy out of here for you.
Give me an extra because she didn't trust me.
So you're just making an outline. And then when you take your bear out, tuck him aside where he's safe, you'll have the outline of your paper. So that is the edge that you need to stay within when you're drawing or creating your monoprint. Our monoprint is going to be created with water soluble markers, so washable markers, like these guys. And you are just going to fill the entire space, the entire foil, you're going to draw right on it with whatever you want your forest-scape to look like, or your landscape. If you drew a vertical hot dog, Smokey the Bear, then you want to make sure that your forest-scape on your foil is vertical. If you drew horizontal, then you want to make sure that your rectangle on your foil is horizontal also. Okay, so we're going to get busy drawing our forest-scape. We're going to speed it up a little bit so you don't have to watch us color the whole thing in. And then we'll get back at you when it's time to print. I apologize because this part is probably really hard to see. We're working on foil, so it's just reflecting every little bit of sun there is. Plus the markers don't show up super vibrant. They're just kind of resting on this shiny surface. So in a minute when we get to the printing part, I think that you'll be able to see much better what we were working on, hopefully. We're sitting in a ponderosa pine forest, right? Mm-hmm. But the really cool thing, my favorite part about it, is there are all of these alligator junipers. And they're these big chunky old man looking trees, and they have this incredible bark that is all broken up into little scales. And they look like some sort of
alligator skin.
Amphibian.
Like an alligator, perhaps.
Like an alligator. I don't know. They're cool, but
alligators are reptiles.
Is it a reptile?
I think.
Okay, reptile. You know what I'm saying. They're all scaly. They're scaly. And they're really cool. And the blue, are you gonna, okay, I've talked to my students about this before. How many markers can you color with at a time?
Let's find out.
One. So you only need to hold on to one. It is not fair to hoard all the colors that you're gonna be using.
Pocahontas taught me that you can paint with all the colors of the wind.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I can draw with all the colors of the markers.
Well, I teach kindergarten on day one that you don't need a fistful.
Well, maybe I'll show up for that next fall.
How's it going?
Swimmingly.
I meant like the 50% point. Are you at that
I think
point?
I'm gonna finish, but just barely.
I would love it if you could try your best. All right, art friends, once you have colored your foil completely with your marker, like I said, it's okay if it's dried, it doesn't matter. You're gonna set that aside for a second and hope it doesn't blow away in the forest. And you're gonna get your Smokey picture back out, and you will need that wet paper towel that you had handy. So we just packed ours in a little Ziploc baggie, and we're gonna make sure to take it back with us because we wanna be good to our animal friends and keep our forest nice. But all you're gonna do with a clean paper towel is you're gonna dampen the surface of your Smokey the Bear drawing. So actually you can just rub it. And because it's permanent marker, it's not gonna go anywhere. What is gonna happen though is your paper is gonna start to curl up a little. There goes my drawing.
A little windy today.
Once your paper starts to curl, you know you've got plenty. I would say just make sure that you get around the edges. And then you wanna move quickly at this point. Then you're gonna just take your picture And you're going to, I don't know, I'm gonna put my picture on the bottom and then lay Smokey the Bear on top of it. That way I can see that I'm laying it in the right place. And then you're just gonna give your bear a massage. Now pounding would seem fun. I have a lot of pounding in my classroom when we do this kind of thing. A lot of not necessary. Fun, yes.
Well, you said give it a massage. What if you give it the old...
You can, just for a good
karate
time,
choppers?
but it's actually not going to do anything different for your poor little bear. So you just want to make sure you rub the whole thing really well before you pick it up and move it. You want to make sure too it's not moving around on top of your foil. You don't want it slipping and sliding. So you're kind of holding it firm with one hand and rubbing it with the other. Then when you are positive that you have rubbed all of the areas really well, all you're gonna do, you can even peek on the corner a little bit, then you're going to peel it up. Oh, yours came out better than mine. Yours is darker. Cool. So then you have your Smokey the Bear poster. Wow, yours is so much darker than mine. Cool. Okay, and then here is another example of one that I did at home that I did vertical. Okay. How come mine came out so?
I laid it in there. See, this is where I got all those markers, and you said, how many markers can you use at once? I said, well, let's find out.
Should I do this again? Should we do another take and should I do it?
You can. I'm going to stand here and I'm going to tell.
Bad jokes? What?
Oh, just wipe it down again?
Yeah, just try again. Maybe mine wasn't as wet as yours? Now I'm determined.
You can re-wet your paper towel. We have water. Okay. Oh, that's better.
So much better. So you can always do it over again. Happy accidents, right? This was a pretty happy accident. I think my surface of my paper was probably not as wet as it should have been.
Or it dried out really fast. It's pretty windy today, so.
Super windy here. So that's it. That's your Smokey the Bear poster. And it will remind you the importance of taking care of our forests, especially this summer while you're outside adventuring, which I hope that my students do. There's so much cool stuff around here to see. So it will remind you to be super careful and take good care of things. All right, awesome artists. Be sure that you get out, have some adventures, be safe, protect our forests, and be sure to send me your artwork. I can't wait to see what you make. All right, awesome artists. Why? All right, awesome. All right.
Hey.
Really? Do you want to do this? Are we recording?
We were recording. Some of us have our game face on.
Did you get hair and makeup yet?
Yes, extensive. Obviously. This doesn't just happen.
I feel bigger than you again. Can you?
Then get smaller than me.
I'm not bigger than you in real
I think
life.
you're uphill from me. Okay, we're recording.
Yeah, I know, but I feel really awkward because I'm
looking
like...
for some outtakes?
No, I'm just awkward. All right. Where do I start from?
I had to get this the clap track. I had to get the audio lined up.
It's like a thing?
The 2 cameras, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Well, so what you're going to...
Okay, now we're ready.
Oh my good now. So what you're going to do...
Come on, my marker's drying out.
Well, so I'm...
This thing on?
I think my hair might be weird. Seriously. Are you good?
I'm ready.
I think my hair might be weird. More hamburger. There's a mountain biker.
No.
Sorry.
Better than a mountain lion.
You're not kidding. Okay, so if you drew...
Sounds like our kid opening up a bag of chips. We were trying to watch a movie quietly.
Yeah, exactly. Do y'all think he's funny? Okay.
Davy Crockett, ding, welcome to your...
Was he the one that killed him a bar when he was only 3?
Killed him bar.
I don't know what that says. They assumed that the cub would... And he's gonna... to get the cub. Why can't I talk? For treatment.
Red leather, yellow leather.
When Fish and Game... Whoa.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Right stuff.